Part 36. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 351. Eternal Tower. 27th floor. Fire element, the road of trials. Thunder. Yabai roared angrily and waved forward with the force of nature. While chatting earlier, Yabai had already stacked up his wood skills and was ready to go. Let's talk about it, don't make fun of Tianli. Vulcan frowned slightly and was about to reply. It's impossible to use the thunder element here. Boom. A terrifying thunderbolt fell, shattering a Vulcan projection. Halfway through what Vulcan said, he was slapped in the face. He snorted coldly, heavenly flame seal. The sky thunder that was supposed to jump did not appear and was successfully blocked. At the same time, all the thunder skills that Yabai had used before were marked as unusable. This is the second time Yabai has faced off against the projection of gods. The previous Poseidon projection was too weak to be put on the table. In order to give Yabai the best blessing, the god of fire naturally went all out and showed no mercy. The stronger he showed in this battle, the stronger the blessing Yabai finally received. He was ready to go and the sky thunder was disabled, but Yabai didn't panic at all. First, rely on various skills to avoid the attack of the Vulcan projection, and at the same time throw various skills to delay time. Due to the super high damage caused by the sky thunder, Yabai's upper limit of blood volume and shield have been greatly improved, giving him room to pull. After accumulatively casting spells for a certain number of times, Yabai struck out with a heavy punch. All things are born. Spring, summer, autumn, and winter, the four seasons change. Chaos thunder, now. 4 chaos thunders struck down one after another, destroying the 4 Vulcan projections. Samsara shadow. Under the effect of 100 shots and 100 hits, Yabai can trigger the probability of Samsara shadow being released again. All creatures is the strongest skill that Yabai has mastered now. Chaos thunder can cause super high real damage. 2 rounds of creation, a total of 8 chaotic thunders. Yabai doesn't believe that he can't kill the god of fire. Rumble. 4 more terrifying thunderbolts struck down, defeating 3 Vulcan projections one after another. The last Vulcan projection survived. Vulcan proactively reminded, you must use fire skills to end this battle. Thanks. After thanking him, Yabai took action decisively. Ignite. Boom. Like fireworks, the Vulcan projection exploded. 9 flames landed in front of Yabai one after another and poured into his forehead. A flame mark slowly emerged, and the voice of the god of fire rang in Yabai's ears. May you burn away all evil in the world. It is right to hate evil as much as to hate it. Yabai nodded slightly, agreeing with Brother Vulcan's idea. The heir of fire, guaranteed to complete the mission. Wherever there is evil, there is the evil nemesis, Shura. Yabai will definitely squeeze out every penny of sin, and then burn it all without mercy. Gather it up and burn it immediately. The moment the flame mark appeared, the surrounding flame space began to fade, and the power of the Vulcan was forced to leave the 27th floor. Huh. Before leaving, Brother Vulcan left a slightly surprised sentence. Are you actually the one favored by theft and shadow? After saying that, Brother Vulcan disappeared and left completely. Forget about this. Yabai's heart skipped a beat and he was a little unsure. It shouldn't have any impact, right? The fire pattern on his forehead was mixed with some shadows and exuded warmth. A warm current ran through Yabai's body, almost making him burst into flames. Fortunately, he had non-combustible materials and forcibly stopped the fire. After the warm current ended, Yabai's ears kept ringing with reminders from the Eternal Tower. Get the blessing of the God of Fire. Get the title, Fire Stealer. Acquire skills, Stealing Fire. Hiss. Is this the combination of Shadow Brother and Vulcan's blessing? Yabai clicked on the status one by one to view his newly acquired blessings, titles, and skills. Vulcan's blessing, the effect of fire skills is add 10%. Each time you defeat the Vulcan projection, an additional add 10% will be added. Current bonus, 100%. Yabai nodded slightly. Brother Vulcan is stable. No wonder the god of fire wants to come with 9 projections. It's true that the more projections, the stronger the effect. The basic 10% effect, 9 projections plus 90%, is 100%. Yabai himself has the SSS level career template of the Wrath Mage, and the effect of fire skills is add 100%. This is a superposition, not a multiple. In other words, throwing a fire skill can cause 3 times the damage. After checking the God of Fire's blessing, Yabai clicked on the title Fire Stealer. This is the first title he has received. How can it be plagiarized? Can Shura's matter be called plagiarism? Fire Stealer, each time Fire Stealer succeeds, you will get a permanent attribute improvement. The better the effect of Fire Stealer, the higher the attribute improvement. It's actually used in conjunction with skills, and it also has attribute growth. This is a good title. With doubts, Yabai quickly clicked on the introduction of the skill Stealing Fire. Stealing Fire, steal a fire attribute from the enemy and extend its time by 10 times. At the same time, Stealing Fire can only maintain one fire element state. The success rate of Stealing Fire is related to the level, strength, and grade of the person being stolen. The success rate is not affected by any other status. If Stealing Fire fails, you can choose to consume 10,000 eternal gold coins, and the skill will not enter the cooldown. Cooling time, 12 hours. Note, this skill can only be used by Fire Stealer. Only by becoming the favored one of the God of Fire, the favored one of Theft and the Shadow at the same time can you enjoy the joy of stealing fire. This skill makes him both love and hate it. The 3 elemental groups merged in front of Yabai, and the Shadow and Fire elemental groups each flickered. Yabai can't use 100 shots and 100 hits to get stuck. First of all, stealing fire is very strong, no doubt about it. How long will he have to collect Shuemeng's wool before he can earn 10,000 gold coins? 10,000 gold coins, a full 10 million dragon coins, 0.01 God of War merit. After putting away the skill introduction, Yabai regained his strength. Yabai comforted himself, it was only 10,000 gold coins, and it was enough to meet Shuemeng a few times. Thunder, Shadow, Fire. After reading the introduction of Stealing Fire, Yabai felt extremely complicated. Secondly, isn't this definitely impossible to steal? Brother, can you borrow a fire? Everything looks so good. But, looking at the astonishing Lord of the Secret Realm, Yabai asked seriously. Stealing fire, although there is a problem with the success rate, not every time can be successful. Fire stealing success rate, 65%. It can steal the enemy's fire status, strengthening itself while weakening the enemy. 10,000 gold coins. The final boss has arrived. Before he could see the opponent's true appearance clearly, Yabai couldn't wait to check the success rate of stealing fire. The most cruel thing is that the success rate of this skill is not affected by other conditions. Just thinking about it made Yabai feel pain in his body. It would be even better if there was no condition for gold coins to cancel the cooling time. Combined with Fire Stealer, you can also get attribute improvements and double the happiness. After failing to steal fire, you can use gold coins to cancel the cooldown time. So low, only 65%. He has cleared all 3 series of trials, and he is about to face the final boss in the secret realm of job transfer. If he failed to steal the fire, Yabai would lose a total of 10,000 gold coins, which was more uncomfortable than dying. Yabai rolled his eyes. Okay, you have to spend the money you earn anyway. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 352. Rumble. The thunder from the sky kept flashing, and the lord of the secret realm was scorched on the outside and tender on the inside. The reason why it is still alive is because Yebai has not borrowed fire yet. Gold coins minus 10,000. Gold coins minus 10,000. These two reminders hit Yebai hard. With a success rate of 65%, he actually failed twice in a row. The lucky value of 17 is fake. Yebai suspected that Master Fool's half-copper coin had brought him bad luck. These 20,000 gold coins will be recorded in Master Fool's account. Yebai finally succeeded in stealing fire for the third time. Stealing fire successfully. Acquire the fire state burning with anger. When injured, the damage will be at 50%, lasting 120 hours. Fire Stealer takes effect, intelligence attribute add 1000. Looking at the prompt, Yebai let out a sigh of relief. Call. 20,000 gold coins in exchange for a 5-day buff and 1000 intelligence points. Strictly speaking, Yebai must have made a profit from this transaction, or even made a fortune. However, for Yebai, being angry was basically nothing. Even if he loses a drop of blood, he can't wait to fill himself up. Fighting with injuries. Non-existent. Laugh to death and it won't hurt at all. However, only one stealing fire buff can be maintained at the same time. In other words, the next time Yebai succeeds in stealing fire, burning with fury will be automatically replaced. Yebai shook his head as his traumatized heart was somewhat healed. Unfortunately, the cooldown time of stealing fire is too long, a full 12 hours. You can only steal fire twice a day, and it's not fun to refresh your attributes. We need to think of a way to weaken the restrictions. Yebai made up his mind. Next time, find someone who is 100% successful in stealing fire. In the matter of stealing fire, it is typical that the income is directly proportional to the return. The harder the object is to steal fire, the higher the profit. If stealing fire is 100% successful, such as asking Xiaolin to borrow a fire, Yebai will most likely only get attribute add 1. A bold idea emerged in Yebai's heart. If I ask third brother to borrow a fire. His. Yebai quickly interrupted this idea, it was a bit too bold. Thinking back to the beginning, Yebai was submissive to his third brother Xiaoao. Now, I dare not even think about borrowing fire. It's floating. Fire, maybe you can borrow it, if Xiaoao is willing to borrow it. So, what's the cost? In general, the skill of stealing fire means that the lower the probability, the stronger the effect. Of course, the more Krypton gold you earn. If you don't need Krypton gold, then it may be Krypton life, not as good as Krypton gold. After borrowing the fire, Yebai naturally didn't need to hold back, and he solved the boss in 3 strokes, 5 divisions and 2 divisions. The master of this secret realm is nothing but crumbs. It's easier to fight than Poseidon's projection. Rumble. Along with the loud noise, the lord of the secret realm disintegrated little by little and dissipated in front of Yebai. 3 trial roads, the final boss, all solved. Yebai's job change has also reached the final step. Settlement and customs clearance. The eternal core crystal appeared in front of Yebai. He placed his palm on it and began to calculate the score. It's different from before. This time, the color of the crystal changed several times, from white to red, and from red to black. Finally, there was silence, then suddenly burst into dazzling colors. A series of reminders sounded in Yebai's ears. SSSS level score pass. The 4th job transfer was successful. Main profession, mage with the title of Wrath of Heaven. Main elements, thunder, fire, shadow. The secondary elements are included in the 2nd career template. All attributes are improved, upgrade to get attribute improvements. After all the beeps disappeared, Yabai clicked on his properties panel. Eternal ID, Shura. Talent, Eye of Insight, SSS level. Level, 300. Occupation, Wrath Title Mage, Thunder, Fire, Shadow, SSS level. Second profession, Shura Great Mage, Windwood Water, SSS level. Title, Fire Thief. HP, 12,816,900/12,816,900. MP, 32,749,700/32,749,700. Strength, 119,173, add 164,376. Intelligence, 215,764, add 396,549. Spirits, 208,763, add 309,871. Agility, 91,284, add 106,971. Constitution, 81,375, add 106,876. Luck, 17. Equipment, Force of Nature, SSS level, etc. Skills, Stealing Fire, Shadow in the Mirror, Killing, etc. Status, Blessing of Vulcan, Theft and Favor of Shadow, etc. Since all attributes attached to the power of nature are at 100%, Yebai's additional attributes are even higher than the basic attributes. Take the most prominent attribute of intelligence. The basic attributes are 210,000, the additional 100% adds 210,000, and the power of nature adds 150,000. Taking into account the bonuses from other equipment, Yebai's intelligence attribute directly exceeded 600,000. You know, Yebai is only level 300 and already has such terrifying attributes. His strength will only get stronger as time goes by. Of course, Yebai has a clear positioning of his own strength. Just beat ordinary demons. Yebai sighed. In front of the 2000 level powerful demon god, he is just a younger brother. Even if the most powerful demon god didn't appear in front of Yebai, he still felt a strong sense of oppression. The strongest existence known in the world, 50% of its origins are level 2000. He fought against Nightmare and Wuhan successively but managed to escape unscathed. Yebai calculated in his mind that the top two strongest men of the human race might not be in very good condition. Nightmare, Yebai had only heard of it in rumors, but had never seen it before. The second brother, Wuhan, was wandering in the abyss, looking carefree and unruly. But Yebai remembered clearly that every time he looked at his second brother, Lan Bangxian would stand in front of him. I'm afraid it's not that simple. Based on the information Yebai currently has, the most powerful demon god is so powerful that it makes people despair. Even Master Ju has no confidence in facing the most powerful demon. Otherwise, Master Ju would not find any way to delay the opening of the Abyss of Power and gain 10 years for Xiaoao. There is a long way to go. Putting away the attribute panel, Yebai felt that he needed to find something to do to relieve stress. Young people, don't put too much pressure on yourself, otherwise you will easily suffer from insomnia, obesity, and hair loss. Let's go, I haven't been back to the wolf lair for a long time, let's talk to Xuemeng. Thinking of Xuemeng, Yebai seemed to have breathed in the happy air. A white light flashed, and Yebai's figure disappeared from the 27th floor. The moment he left, the entire human race in the Eternal Tower received a server-wide notification at the same time. Congratulations to player Shura for reaching the 27th level SSSS level evaluation. Latest version announcement. Bug fixed, the fourth secret realm for job transfer should be the 27th floor, not the 28th floor. Designer Minjio Latai fixed this bug in the update on February 12. Thanks to the bug discoverer Mingyu Old Thief for naming and commending. Criticizing the bug maker Mingyu Old Thief will not be an example next time. Update and fix. I was halfway through writing last night, and I was too sleepy to squint for a while, so I fell asleep until now. This is actually the fourth update from yesterday, Friday. Xuemeng Oza dead, I still owe one more update. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjio Old Thief. Chapter 353. Player Shura SSSS clears the 27th floor and is rewarded with the human buff God's favor in the Eternal Tower. Limited time buff Surface and Shadow. The Eternal Tower human race has not committed any theft for 24 hours, and can obtain a powerful buff, only once. Limited time buff Burn All Evil. The fire skills of the Eternal Tower human race will cause an additional 50% damage to the evil atmosphere, limited to 6 hours. Limited time buff Thunder Strike. The human thunder skills of the Eternal Tower have a 15% probability of causing double damage, limited to 6 hours. Permanent buff God's favor. The Eternal Tower human race will more easily obtain the Vulcan God's favor. The announcement from the Eternal Tower ended, drawing cheers from countless people. It's been a long time and 48 hours since I heard the story about Shura's SSSS rating. Countless forums, platforms, and headlines are once again full of Shura news. Shura passed the 27th level and changed jobs for the 4th time. In other words, Shura will soon have the combat power of a war king. Idiot, that's the most powerful seed. Even the weakest at level 300 has the power of the god of war. Shura's figure appears in all the hot searches. At the same time, a mediocre warrior level star lone wolf walked into the wolf lair in a low profile. Fourth brother, good morning. Diamond greeted Yebai implicitly. It's only after 2 o'clock, and most people are busy climbing the Eternal Tower. There were only scattered guests in the wolf lair. Even if they noticed Shura's arrival, they were very restrained. At most, they raised their glasses from a distance and did not deliberately approach to get close. Yebai sat at the bar, and a cocktail was delivered to him. The guest in the corner invites you, fourth brother. Yebai was not polite, raised his glass to the other party, and took a sip. Thanks. Putting down his wine glass, Yebai took out the lone wolf medal and sent a message to Xuemeng. Xuemeng, the user you called is chatting, please don't call later. Shura, a big business to make money. Xuemeng, wait a moment, I will return like lightning. The last time he earned 180,000 God of War merits with 3 sentences, Xuemeng obviously tasted the benefits. Besides, Xuemeng vowed to watch his wallet carefully and not give Shura any chance to make money. Soon, a powerful bolt of lightning returned to the wolf lair. Xuemeng asked hurriedly before he sat down. What kind of money-making business? Wait a moment, I have a small question to ask you first. Yebai did not forget that he had to help Lao Lu with his medical treatment. You know Lu Qingjian, right? Hearing this name, a trace of embarrassment flashed across Xuemeng's face, and he quickly covered it up. I can't remember exactly. There are so many war kings, how can I possibly know them all? I didn't say Lu Qingjian was the king of war. Why don't you just ask yourself? Yebai's eyes were full of doubts. Why did I hear people say that he beat you? That's absolutely not the case. Xuemeng said emphatically. I swear on the name of all my fathers, Lu Qingjian never punched me in the face. Yebai. Brother, you have too many details. There's something wrong with the big man today. There must be something fishy in it. Yebai continued. I mention Lu Qingjian to you because he is having trouble breaking through the god of war now, and it has to do with the memory seal from back then. Moreover, I asked the second Master Ying to help me read it, and the second Master Ying said Lu Qinjiao asked me to find you. Ye Bai explained the whole story clearly. Xuemeng's face became a little more solemn, and after a while he spoke. Come on, come into the house with me. Obviously, outside is not the place to discuss this topic. Ye Bai drank the cocktail in one gulp before following Xuemeng into his office. After entering the room, Xuemeng hesitated for a moment and then tentatively spoke. Otherwise, just leave this matter alone. Before Ye Bai could ask questions, Xuemeng explained. It's not a big deal that Lao Lu can't get the god of war. We don't lack him as a god of war. He's the same without him. You can't break through, normal people will encounter it. I've been stuck at level 989 for so long. Did I say anything? These words are reasonable and well-founded, and they are nonsense. Ye Bai rolled his eyes and said dissatisfied. De Menzi, your behavior has been abnormal ever since you heard the name Lu Qinjian. Ye Bai knocked on the table and emphasized. Even if you tell me to leave it alone, at least let me know what's going on, right? Even if we don't talk about the relationship between Lu Qinjian and Ye Bai themselves. Just for Lu Qinjiao to protect Ye Bai, it was impossible for Ye Bai to just sit idly by with this level of human kindness. Moreover, Xuemeng's reaction was so strange that it aroused Ye Bai's curiosity. It's a long story. Xuemeng sighed, took out a bottle of fine wine from the corner, took out 2 cups worth 100 god of war merits, and poured 2 glasses of wine. 1 cup was his, and so was the other cup. Xuemeng had no intention of sharing the wine with Shura. As for that, Ye Bai rolled his eyes, took out a beer, and began to listen to Xuemeng telling him a story. Unlike historical inventors like Yingju, Xuemeng really has no bad intentions. Even if you ask him to make up a story on the spot, he won't be able to make it up. Therefore, Ye Bai could believe what Xuemeng said. Actually, the Lu family is different from what you think. Xuemeng tried to organize the language and introduced. During the 30-year bloody war during the Abyss invasion, the situation of the human race was very bad, and there were heavy casualties on the front lines. The more people die, the more orphans and widows there will be. There is a lot of fighting ahead, but there is always someone to help look after these people. Listening to Xuemeng's description, there seemed to be a faint smell of blood in the air. Ye Bai nodded slowly. At that time, a strong man named Lu came forward and spent a large amount of resources to adopt the orphans left behind. Lu Qinjian has a cheerful and heroic personality, and is open-minded. Apparently, he was not affected too much in his childhood. The person who punched Xuemeng back then was Lu Qinjian. What does it have to do with Lu Qinjian? Ye Bai raised his eyebrows and said in an uncertain tone. Why did Lu Qinjian pull his hips when he came here, and there were only 2 words left? My brain is still not working well. It took a lot of effort to develop a relationship, but 4 brothers were killed one after another, leaving Lu Qinjian alone. The care for orphans and widows here is not the kind of care that Cao Thief takes, but care in the true sense. He also has several brothers, the eldest brother Lu Qinjiao, followed by Lu Qingmiao, Lu Qingzin, and Lu Qingsen. Yao, Sen, Xin, Miao. Xuemeng sighed, drank the wine in the glass, and took a bottle of beer over when Shura wasn't paying attention. The naming is very regular, with 3 characters from the 5 elements stacked together. Lu Qinjian is the youngest in the Baishuanliu family. Ye Bai noticed a detail. At this point in the story, although it is cruel, there is still some warmth. The Baishuanliu family is really miserable. The bad thing is that the Baishuanliu family is too miserable. Itself, it is a group of orphans who were adopted together. Could it be that Lu Qinjian's name? Xuemeng nodded, confirming Ye Bai's guess. Otherwise, Nightmare would not have created an organization like Shadow and tried every means to collect the remaining souls. Where is the logic in this? That's right. In other words, these 4 people are all staying in the shadows now. Ye Bai frowned slightly. All dead. Xuemeng continued. Before the memory was sealed, his name was not Lu Qingjian, but Lu Qingjian. Based on Ye Bai's understanding of the powerful men of the nightmare generation, although they have different temperaments, they always value emotion and warmth in their work. Then what? Many children don't even know their own surname, so they simply take the surname Lu. Wait a minute, you said so many people from the Baishuan Lu family have been killed in battle. The Baishuan Liu family also came from this way. Ye Bai was speechless for a moment. Xuemeng paused and his expression darkened. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 354. After learning the truth, Ye Bai quickly picked up the good wine on the table and took a big gulp. Shocked. Why did the name of this memory seal change? Ye Bai looked at Xuemeng, thoughtfully. Wait a minute, was Xiao's meeting with Lu Qingjian arranged by you? Xuemeng smiled sheepishly. I originally asked Uncle Ju for help. At that time, Uncle Ju was with old Taoist Wei, who knew he was interested, so he asked him to come. The rough truth of that year was pieced together in front of Ye Bai's eyes. Lu Qingjian once encountered too many life and death partings while growing up. 4 brothers who are not relatives, but more like relatives, receive bad news one after another. This made Lu Qingjian unable to bear the blow and was unable to recover. How proud was Lu Qingjian back then? One sentence describes Lu Qingjian's qualifications: he punched Xuemeng. That fight was a group fight. Xuemeng beat up a group of people by himself. The whole class of freshmen couldn't handle the monster Xuemeng. They couldn't even touch the corners of his clothes. As a result, only Lu Qingjian successfully punched Xuemeng. This punch alone made Lu Qingjian famous. Many war gods came here because they were famous and wanted to take Lu Qingjian as their disciple. Lu Qingjian was therefore rated as the 2nd seed in this session. However, people with a strong temper can easily break if they are too strong. The Baishuan Lu family was originally an extremely warm family, but in the past few decades, they had done 3 innocent things. After learning about the death of the last 2 brothers, Lu Qingjian, who had already become the king of war, was filled with hatred, blood, and tears, but no way to take revenge. Because the legion his brother belongs to is called Sea of Blood. The Blood Marine Corps was in the abyss of the Blood Sea. The commander of the legion was plotted by the devil. Countless monsters poured out and the legion members suffered heavy casualties. Lu Qingzin and Lu Qingsun served as deputy commanders of the army. They were killed in the battle and were later included in the shadow. The day after the defeat, Xuemeng entered the abyss of blood alone. From now on, there will be no more bloody abyss in the world. Tooth for tooth, blood for blood. This is the rule set by the strongest Wuhan in the United Legion. Unlike Nightmare, Wuhan acts more decisively and clearly distinguishes between love and hate. The framework and prototype of the United Legion was built in the hands of Nightmare. Their group of people had blocked the first batch of attacks from the abyss, and everything was waiting to be done. Many things could only be done roughly, and there was no way to achieve perfection. At the worst time, King Huo Tian was also the commander of the 6 legions, and he was too busy. After the flag was handed over to Wuhan, many legions slowly gained their own souls and became more murderous. Wuhan used his sword to sort out all the legions. No rules, no standards. A sword sets the rules for the human army. It was also from that time that the human race truly integrated the scattered forces into a rope, and gained the ability to counterattack the abyssal plane. Facing the blood feud, Lu Qingjian had no way to take revenge. Because the strong men of the human race had already avenged him. Lu Qingjian, who was despairing of all her thoughts and found everything boring, kept company with wine all day long, drunken and dreaming of life and death. Xuemeng accidentally learned about this and asked Uncle Ju to help enlighten him. In Xuemeng's opinion, if there is any unresolved knot in his heart, it will definitely be cured by asking Uncle Ju, the old miracle doctor, to talk about it. If spiritual enlightenment failed, Uncle Ju also had physical therapy. There is always one suitable for Lu Qingjian. Xuemeng originally meant. Now that the top 4 members of the Baishuan Lu family have all entered the shadows, Lu Qingjiao has even served for many years. Yingju can definitely tell Lu Qingjian the truth. People are dead, but not completely dead. Wouldn't Lu Qingjian's knot in her heart be solved? But Xuemeng ignored one thing. At that time, Yingju was protecting Xiaoao. Yingju went to see Lu Qingjian and walked happily together. Xiaoao chatted with Lu Qingjian. After that day, Lu Qingjian became Lu Qingjian. Except for a very few people who still remember Lu Qingjian. In other people's memories, Lu Qingjian does not exist at all. Hearing this, Ye Bai couldn't help but take a breath. Isn't Third Brother's attack too cruel? Erase the traces of a person's existence and replace it with a brand new existence. Lu Qingjian and Lu Qingjian seem to be just one word apart. To achieve this level, you are no longer an ordinary powerful seed. At least, Ye Bai asked himself that he couldn't do it. After telling Lu Qingjian's story, Xuemeng said helplessly. That is to say, you really want to help Lao Lu overcome this hurdle. The person you are looking for is not me, but the old man. I see. Ye Bai turned his face and scolded. What a weird old man, can you have the most basic respect for me, the strongest human race? How old is Xiaoao? If you dare to shout randomly next time, your money will be deducted. Hearing the last 2 words, Xuemeng suddenly felt like a deflated ball. He doesn't care if others ask him to deduct money. Anyway, Xuemeng has to hand over 99% of the money. What is the difference between deducting and not deducting the remaining 1%? Shura and Xuemeng deducted money. This wave of problems is huge, so panic. Speaking of money. Ye Bai immediately put Lu Qingjian's topic aside, with a strange light shining in his eyes. 90% of your income will be handed over to Big Daddy, and then divided between the Shadows and the Nightmare Army, right? Xuemeng nodded. Yes, do you have any evil ideas? Watch your words. Ye Bai knocked on the table and made a serious face. Ye Bai added. Listening to these words, Xuemeng yawned. Why didn't he think of it before? Xuemeng has no shortage of strength. Xuemeng made up his mind. He will not let go of the hawk until he sees the rabbit, and he will not do anything until he hears more money. What does this have to do with him? He asked tentatively. Shura is determined to break into the abyss of the strongest, so there must be a way. You must keep it a secret, we are preparing to counterattack the abyss. Shadow is planning to create the position of a swordsmanship instructor, which can be used part-time by Lone Wolf. Ye Bai whispered. Please be sure to let me take the position of swordsmanship instructor. Based on Xuemeng's understanding of Shura. Pay the application fee now and enjoy a 20% discount. You have to find a way to follow Shura. It is absolutely impossible to go to the abyss of power without some means and strength. Xuemeng's eyes lit up. If he ran there, his second father wouldn't be able to control him. Supreme Abyss? The meaning is clear. This swordsmanship instructor might take the lead and rush into the abyss of the mighty to kill the enemy with his sword. Able. Oh, by the way, I also need to be able to use a sword. Do you have any suitable candidates you can recommend? Excuse me, what are the main responsibilities of this instructor? Xuemeng held Ye Bai's hand enthusiastically and said excitedly. Although we have a good relationship, we can't go through the back door. It will affect your reputation, Xuemeng. Can you invite the person in charge of the Nightmare Legion here? I have some new ideas about the distribution of the amount. In general, the work is tiring, the salary is low, the requirements are high, and there is a lot of bullshit. Seize the opportunity to use your sword. Ye Bai cleared his throat. Ye Bai's words made Xuemeng's eyes light up. But he lacks the means. Xuemeng nodded, but why do you do this? As he spoke, Xuemeng rubbed his fingers. As you can see, I am now considered a half-talker in Shadow, and I am working on Shadow's internal reform. With that said, Ye Bai took out the application form he had prepared a long time ago, handed it to Xuemeng, and said seriously. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 355. You're not right. Although Xuemeng wanted to go to the abyss of power, he was not stupid. Why do you even have to pay for registration? Ye Bai snorted coldly. Just tell me whether you want to repay it or not. He didn't even bother to make up a reason. If you really want to fool Xuemeng, there are many ways to get the registration fee. Paper printing fee, background check fee, physical examination fee, venue fee. Xuemeng tightened his grip on his wallet. You have to tell me the number. How much do you think it is? Not expensive. Ye Bai thought for a while. He had lost 20,000 gold coins by stealing fire before, and now he was furious. 200,000 gold coins is enough. Find Xuemeng to restore some blood and heal your wounded heart. Okay. Xuemeng was afraid that Ye Bai would regret it, so he agreed directly. 200,000 gold coins, only 0.2 God of War merit. To put it bluntly, Shura was quite kind this time. After spending this time together, Xuemeng had a very clear understanding of Shura's character. Shura's behavior can be summed up in 3 words, not human. This time I only cheated 200,000 gold coins, which is very conscientious. After completing the 27th floor, Ye Bai was not in a hurry to rush to the 28th floor. The 28th floor is okay, with monsters to level up and a simple RPG mode, so there are no big problems. What really needs to be worried about is the 29th floor. Different from previous levels, the 29th floor is a team mode. Ye Bai needs to form a team with 2 to 3 people to pass the level together. Who your teammates choose is very important. The team's score is calculated together, and Ye Bai carries Eternal Blessing, which can raise the final score to a higher level. He eats meat, and the rest of the team can follow suit and eat soup. How can you have such a good thing to yourself? However, this reward can only be obtained by clearing the level for the first time. In other words, Ye Bai's teammates must be people who have not cleared the 29th floor. Ye Bai looked at Xuemeng and asked seriously. Tomorrow I will go to the 29th floor, what should I do if I form a team? That's what I wanted to tell you. Xuemeng's face tightened and he said seriously. Someone woke up from the freezer and wants to break through to the 29th floor with you. What? A big question mark appeared above Ye Bai's head. How come someone was frozen and teamed up with me? This is too hard to take advantage of the era of the strongest. Feng Dong and others wanted to take advantage of Shura and desperately wanted to repeat the grade. This one is better, just freeze it. After Shura was born and reached the 29th floor, he was released from freezing and returned to the human world. It's big, the layout is too big. Here's the thing, the 29th floor is a bit special. Xuemeng introduced seriously. Back then, there was an extremely talented being who was stuck on the 29th floor, with no hope of breaking through for the rest of his life. Ordinary people can't take him past the 29th floor, not even me. Mr. Lang concluded that only the strongest seeds can do it. This is the first time Ye Bai has heard of this. Ye Bai asked, what then? Xuemeng scratched his head. This guy has a limited lifespan. If he doesn't break through the 29th floor, his strength won't be further improved, and he will die soon. So he was frozen, waiting for the strongest seed to be born, and trying to find a way to take him for a ride. Etc. Ye Bai interrupted. If I remember correctly, I am the fourth child. If it is true as Xuemeng said, only the most powerful seeds can take this person through the 29th floor. Why didn't Nightmare, Wuhan, or Xiaoao take him to play? Ye Bai was a little alert, this person wouldn't have any other problems, right? For a moment, Ye Bai even wanted to stuff the other person back into the freezer. Xuemeng laughed out loud and said helplessly. This guy is so unlucky. My eldest father was the same generation as me at that time, but he was a step too late and couldn't keep up. When my second father was born, this guy had just been frozen. When the ice was lifted, my second father had already passed the 29th floor. I3. Xuemeng said so smoothly that he almost called Xiaoao his third father. That guy climbed the tower without any trouble at all. The third most powerful seed in the human race, for a long time, it was as if he did not exist. Listening to Xuemeng's description, Ye Bai nodded slowly, which was reasonable. Xiaoao clearance is always 99.99% complete, and there will be no server-wide announcements. In this way, the genius who was frozen not only had a bad life, but also had bad luck. But there is another problem. Ye Bai calmly analyzed and asked. This is not a matter of money. Why should I take him? If you ask me to take it, I will take it. I, Shura, don't want to lose face. Ye Bai originally planned to refute Xuemeng loudly like this. Xuemeng's words blocked all Ye Bai's follow-up actions. That guy is Zhao Qian's best friend. You should have told me earlier, they are all our brothers. Ye Bai showed a satisfied smile. He has taken charge of this man. As Shura said, even Xiaoao can't be kept. Who is Zhao Qian? The master of the pavilion of all things, the third brother's appointed spokesperson, the number one person in fair dealing. He has never made a penny from Ye Bai. Zhao Qian's brother-in-law is Ye Bai's brother-in-law. Money or not, it doesn't matter. Their relationship, talking about money, is so vulgar. Don't forget what I told you before. Ye Bai reminded. Tomorrow daytime, make an appointment with the Nightmare Legion's talker to talk about the wool split. I wish you can clear the Eternal Tower as soon as possible. The wool comes from Meng's body. The message fell silent, with no response. Ye Bai rolled his eyes. It's better to hurry up and get through. If you can rely on online chat to gather wool from a distance, it might not be a talent. A white light swallowed Ye Bai, and his figure disappeared from the place. Only. Thinking of this, Ye Bai had new motivation to improve his strength. Summoning the Eternal Core Crystal, placing his palm on it, Ye Bai entered the number of layers. As for what can come out of the conversation, it depends on Ye Bai's ability. The qualification to communicate with the quasi-gods of fire, thief, and shadow. Read but not replied. Xuemeng was left with a confused face. In other words, Ye Bai can now chat online with the beings in the temple. After saying that, Ye Bai stood up and left, walking out of the wolf den. Strictly speaking, Ye Bai has not yet received his first payday. As a reward for clearing the 27th floor of the SSSS level, he received 2 rewards. After leaving the wolf den, Ye Bai clicked on a prompt. Ye Bai made a sad discovery. Ye Bai tried to send messages to the god of fire, the god of stealing, and the god of shadow. Shadows matter, Laolius matter, why am I so busy? This insightful eye is becoming more and more contemptuous. To be exact, he is still receiving a soldier-level salary. Ye Bai planned to get another SSSS rating tonight. I haven't even finished my SSSS rating yet, so how can I pass it? Maybe I remembered it wrong, after all, I haven't received the reward yet. What's the wool split? 28th floor. Ye Bai muttered, it always feels like you have broken through this level. Wait, does it mean that if I upgrade my combat power level to God of War before payday, I can get an extra month's salary? On the 29th floor, because I have to wait for my teammates, I can only leave it until tomorrow. There are more things to worry about, but the salary has not increased. Wrong. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 356. Eternal Tower. 28th floor. A flash of white light flashed, and a mage dressed in black appeared on the street, but did not attract anyone's attention. The content of this layer. Yabai yawned and glanced at the prompt. The 28th floor is also called the non-existent floor. Here, players are transparent beings, just like airmen. Most NPCs cannot see the player, cannot hear what the player says, and cannot interact in any way. Of course, you can't be shy on this level. What about sneaking into the women's bathhouse, sneaking into the women's locker room, running around with a camera? Not allowed at all. Ion is really strict. Not only does it prevent addiction, but it also has no whispering. To clear the 28th floor, there are 2 steps. The first step is to find an NPC that can see you. The second step is to defeat the monsters and boss imagined by the NPC. It's that simple. For players, the difficulty for most people lies in the first point. The 28th floor is a rare urban background. 30 million people live in the city, including men, women, old and young, from all walks of life. Trying to find an NPC that can see you is like looking for a needle in a haystack. And even if the player goes through a lot of hard work to find a corresponding NPC and successfully defeats the opponent's imaginary monster, he can only gain a part of the exploration degree. If you want to get a high degree of exploration, or even a level with 100% exploration, it means that players have to find more than one NPC. Finding 2 needles in a haystack. More difficult than ever. However, what does this have to do with Shura, the owner of the SSS level talent Eye of Insight? He. Suspended in mid-air, overlooking the entire city, several lines of prompts appeared in front of Yebai's eyes. Unnamed, age, 21 years old, occupation, unemployed. AI Bobo, age, 9 years old, occupation, primary school student. Kui Shiwen, age, 68 years old, occupation, cook. Kui Shiwen's remaining lifespan, 2 minutes. Yabai. Is it so exciting to play? Just arrived at the 28th floor, you must find Kui Shiwen within 2 minutes, contact the opponent, and get rid of the monster imagined by the opponent. This is Kui Shiwen, this is a person who is urging people to die. If it were anyone else, it might not have started yet. It's over. In the entire city, only 3 people could see Yabai. Only by getting rid of all the monsters dreamed up by these 3 people can Yabai gain 100% exploration degree. Without further ado, let's go. Following the tips given by the Eye of Insight, Yabai easily found Kui Shiwen. A kind-hearted old man lying in the ICU with tubes all over his body. More air comes in and less air comes out. The old man's children gathered outside the ICU. Some had red eyes, some frowned, and some were pacing back and forth uneasily. When Yabai appeared in the ICU, no one noticed his presence, except Kui Shiwen. The moment he saw Yabai, a strange light burst out from the old man's eyes, like a flashback. He struggled to speak. Are you the god of death? In front of the dying old man, a strange young man wearing a black robe and holding a staff appeared. Yabai shook his head, no. Kui Shiwen smiled and said, that's right, how can there be such a young god of death? The old man sighed. Even if you're not the god of death, I'm going to die soon. Yabai didn't reply, acquiescing to the other party's statement. Is there anything you want to say before you die? Have. Kui Shiwen nodded, I don't want to die. Ye Bai helplessly spread his hands, indicating that he was helpless. Feel sorry. Ye Bai's treatment method cannot be used on the old man, not even on the creature. What's there to be sorry for? It's not you who killed me. Stranger, forget it, I'll call you Death. Before, the old man felt like there was 1,000 pounds of stone pressing on his chest, making him breathless. After the young man in black robe appeared, the stone was removed, and the old man's breathing became much easier, as if life had returned to his body. The old man knew that this was an illusion. Even this young man in black robe may be his own imagination. Death, I am reminded of an ancient legend. Kui Shiwen spoke again. According to legend, some people can see dirty, ahem, special people. Ye Bai nodded and agreed with the other party's statement. That's right. Ye Bai did not rush the other party, but waited for the next step. Now that he has met Kui Shiwen will not die before killing the monster in his fantasy. In other words, if Kui Shiwen chats with Ye Bai more, he can extend his life for a few more seconds. I once had a nightmare. Kui Shiwen suddenly talked about another topic. I made a bowl of chicken soup and poisoned it. Kui Shiwen told a story that seemed familiar to Ye Bai. However, after waking up from the dream, Kui Shiwen had no special identity. He is just a cook who has been cooking all his life. Some people are sinners of the era, and some people just bear the sins of the era. The old man sighed. You shouldn't waste food. Chicken soup is really precious. Grim Reaper. Kui Shiwen looked at Ye Bai and asked with a smile. Let it run 2 steps first and then bleed. His eyes were dim and uncertain, and if he had some enlightenment, he would mutter something. First fry the chicken in oil. The Shurasi emerged uncontrollably, rising and falling beside Ye Bai. Thanks. From the delivery room in the next building, a baby cried. Under the guidance of the old man, Ye Bai followed the steps and made a pot of chicken soup. Ye Bai. Cooking is not difficult. He even felt a small sense of accomplishment. Don't blanch the water, you can't blanch the chicken soup. Life and death, the cycle continues. Ye Bai stood aside, silently watching the old man leave and listening to the birth of new life. Next time, remember to use hens when making chicken soup. In front of the old man's hospital bed, a thermos bucket appeared out of thin air. Looking at the god of death, the old man said his last words. I'll teach you. Ye Bai looked at Kui Shiwen and asked with his eyes what to do next. Can you make me a bowl of chicken soup? The electrocardiogram in the ICU became calm and no longer fluctuated. In the thermos bucket, there is hot chicken soup. What a soup! After saying that, he slowly closed his eyes. Plug out the hair by scalding it with hot water. Hey, you can burn the hair, so that's okay. The old man was lying on the hospital bed and teaching Taoism seriously. Outside the ICU, the tense emotions of the family members completely relaxed at a certain moment. After the collapse, they gathered their mood and survived the suffering. There were new sufferings and happiness waiting for them. There are all kinds of things in the world, life and death. The old man smelled it but didn't smell anything. He felt that his nose no longer belonged to him. Regarding the small matter of helping NPC make chicken soup on the 28th floor. I won't. Everything comes into existence, one thought dies, and 3,000 worlds. Ye Bai didn't hesitate for too long and nodded in agreement, okay. The golden chicken soup was served in front of the old man. I bought a chicken and came back. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 357. This time, my enlightenment did not last long. Ye Bai felt that he seemed to have touched a higher level of power and passed it by. It's not that Ye Bai doesn't have enough understanding, but he is too weak now. If the enlightenment is successful, the skill is created, but accidentally, the person is gone. Therefore, the alert Yabai obeyed his original intention and took the initiative to end this enlightenment. Of course, Yabai was not without gains. All things are born based on the previous understanding, it has some more effects. When Yabai realized the Dharma all things are born, he was watching the whale fall, a feast of death. But in fact, Kui Shiwen's death was smaller, more ordinary, and more real than that of whale Luo. This is the life and death that Yabai can come into contact with, which brings new insights. Chaos Thunder Annihilation. When Chaos Thunder causes damage, it will cause instant death to beings whose level is lower than the caster. Seeing the evolution of Chaos Thunder, Yabai fell silent for a moment. Enlightened, but not fully enlightened. To be precise, it was enlightenment, but it was completely useless. Yabai was speechless. Who is below level 300 and can withstand one of my Chaos Thunders? Why is this skill like Huo Tianwang, bullying the weak and afraid of the strong, and has no backbone at all? Skills and backbone, etc. Yabai suddenly realized something. Chaos Thunder Annihilation is indeed useless now. The instant death effect only takes effect on enemies whose level is lower than Yabai. What if it was a demon? Yabai is level 999. With one shot of annihilation, except for the big demon, the second demon, and the fifth demon, all the other demons will lie down. If you were a little bolder, what about the most powerful demon? If Yabainan's level is higher than that of the most powerful demon, and then he shoots into the soul. For a moment, Yabai almost smiled with his mouth crooked, and boasted. Well done, Shura. After putting away the skill introduction, Yabai did not forget the purpose of this trip. Kill Kui Shiwen's fantasy chicken soup, and the exploration rate will increase by 35%. After finishing one, there are still 2 NPCs left. Wu Ming, AI Bobo, what are these names? Yabai rolled his eyes and complained helplessly. On this floor, the NPCs who can see Yabai all have weird names. Between the two of them, Yabai did not hesitate for too long. Wu Ming is 21 years old and AI Now Bo is 9 years old. It may be more troublesome for children, so just leave it behind. 21-year-old Wu Ming is already a mature adult. Go find Wu Ming first. After making the decision, Yabai walked quickly through the city and quickly found his target. An ordinary young man wearing a baseball cap, white sportswear, and white sneakers walked out of the convenience store. He glanced around cautiously, then turned and walked into the alley, fearing that someone was following him. The young man was still mumbling something. Be safe and don't be discovered. The world has great ill intentions towards me. I'm in a very dangerous situation now. The enemy may be hiding in any corner. Behind the ordinary young man, Yabai fell into silence again. This young man is nameless. Compared with Wu Ming, Kui Shiwen is so normal. Yabai followed Wu Ming for 2 minutes, and the other person talked to himself for 2 minutes. Based on the content of his soliloquy, it was not difficult for Yabai to draw the conclusion. If Wu Ming is not in the advanced stage of Shuyunibu, he is mentally ill. After observing for a while, Yabai came to the corner in advance, waiting for Wu Ming's arrival. Wu Ming, who was walking close to the corner, saw Yabai in black robe with his peripheral vision, and subconsciously turned around and ran away. The strong man from another dimension has appeared again and wants to capture me. As Wu Ming turned around and ran away, he said angrily. I knew this world would never let me go. Without giving Yabai any chance to speak, Wu Ming's expression of escaping was completely dejected, and instead he was a little eager to try. Now that the enemy has appeared, my ability should be able to be used. Come out, the white-bearded wizard with magical power, the 23rd strongest partner, fight off the enemies for me. Along with Wu Ming's words, a holy and pure aura came towards him. After the dazzling white light, a white-robed and white-bearded wizard appeared in front of Liu Ming. Ye Bai glanced at the other party. Imaginaries nameless magi stir, leave 300, immune to all magic attacks. The white-bearded wizard waved his staff and was about to attack Ye Bai. In the nameless fantasy, this white-bearded wizard is the most powerful being among mages. Because the white-bearded wizard is immune to all magic damage. Seeing the enemy wearing a magic robe, Liu Ming subconsciously summoned the mage nemesis. What Liu Ming never expected was that the enemies he encountered had no martial ethics. Reach for the stars. Wins infinite distance. Ye Bai slashed out with his sword, and the white-bearded magician seemed to be made of paper, being killed with one sword. Interesting. After killing the nameless fantasy monster, Ye Bai did not take action again. Instead, he returned to where he was and looked at the opponent with interest. Obviously, Liu Ming misunderstood something. In Ye Bai's eyes, as a player, Ye Bai found Liu Ming and helped Liu Ming get rid of the monsters in his imagination. You should be the protagonist. But Liu Ming didn't see it that way. From a nameless perspective, he is an existence that is rejected by the world, and there will always be various powerful people from other worlds coming to catch Liu Ming. And Liu Ming has a powerful special ability. He can imagine all kinds of powerful assistants/partners to resist the strong men from other worlds. In the past 32 arrests, Liu Ming relied on this ability to successfully defeat all the strong men from other worlds. This time, there will be no exception. Ye Bai laughed dumbly. This misunderstanding is a bit big. From Liu Ming's perspective, Ye Bai is not a protagonist, but a proper villain, a big villain. But it doesn't matter. Let's play with him first. Ye Bai was not in a hurry to resolve the misunderstanding. For Ye Bai, the monster that Liu Ming imagined would have to be solved sooner or later. It's fun to make mistakes and make mistakes. Mean. After seeing the white-bearded wizard he summoned being killed by the enemy with one sword, Liu Ming was furious. It's actually a swordsman disguised as a mage. However, Liu Ming was already prepared to deal with this kind of enemy. Come out, Chaos Knight, the ninth most powerful partner. Liu Ming muttered something and looked at Ye Bai excitedly. It seems that this time it's not the little monsters, but the little boss. It doesn't matter, as long as the Chaos Knight takes action, all enemies will be eliminated. In nameless fantasy, the Chaos Knight becomes more powerful. The enemies Ye Bai faces will become stronger. 9th. This is not fun to arrange. Ye Bai showed a pleased smile. He likes to play number 9 the most. Let me tell you something, a mere passerby, a reasonable guest, let me be fair, Shura has nothing wrong with him. Following the nameless summons, a heavily armored Chaos Knight walked out of the magic circle, holding a heavy hammer and urging his Chaos Horse to attack Ye Bai. Ye Bai didn't use the power of nature or the Heavenly King Sword. Instead, he used his fists and attacked directly. Bang bang bang. Ye Bai punched down the Chaos Knight, causing the person who was hit to flip over. Every punch was filled with personal grudges. You are the only one who is the 9th one. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 358. Boom. After giving Lao Ju a punch with a smile on his face, Ye Bai looked at the Chaos Knight who had no ability to resist, and felt only one word. Cool. Lao Ju, is this it? Ye Bai didn't look at Lao Ju, who was completely beaten by him, and waved to Liu Ming. Use all your other moves? I'm not in a hurry, I'll open your eyes today. Hiss. Liu Ming looked solemn and whispered. What a crazy boss. It doesn't matter. Liu Ming encouraged himself. Generally, villains who talk too much will die from talking too much. Ye Bai. He is determined to be the villain today. While Ye Bai was speechless, Liu Ming began to summon stronger partners. Come out, you, the prehistoric monster on the seabed contaminated by radiation, who has the power to destroy the world, use this power to save your friends. When the 108-meter, 90,000-ton monster appeared in front of Yebai, Yebai just wanted to take pictures for nostalgia. Unfortunately, it couldn't be photographed. Interesting. Yebai admired the monster that looked like Godzilla for a while, then slightly raised the force of nature. Thunder. I got up, a kind of second. What's there to say? Rumble. Next, Yebai performed for Wyoming one after another. Dismantling the Gundam with bare hands, tearing apart the Golden Gorilla with bare hands, duel between lightsaber and king sword, Autobots, scrapped. There were so many elements that Yebai couldn't hold himself tight for a while. Enough fun. After killing the number one partner, Yebai put away the heavenly king sword and came to Wyoming. At this time, everyone was dumbfounded. He has realized that he was wrong. This is not a mini-boss, nor is it the final boss. The administrator is here to fix this bug. It's too strong. This is it. Cheating, absolutely cheating. Looking at the pale Wyoming, Yebai smiled kindly and said, "Don't be nervous, I'm a good person." Wyoming shook his head crazily. Usually those who start like this are bad guys, Iron Wolf. How do you know that I am Shura, the first lone wolf in the 9th level warrior star level? Yebai smiled and waved his hand, and stopped joking with Wu Ming. Don't worry, I don't have any ill intentions. To say the least, even if I do, there's nothing you can do against me. What this boss said made sense, and Wu Ming was speechless. Lone Wolf, that's such a familiar name. Have I heard it somewhere? Wu Ming looked at Yebai warily, fearing that the other party was up to no good. From the perspective of breaking through the level, Yebai has already obtained the exploration speed, so there is no need to continue spending time with Wu Ming here. However, Yebai has always been quite curious. Mainly this eternal tower has experienced so much in the past 100 years. Any weirdness may be traces left by Big Brother and the others. As the most powerful collector of black history, Yebai is keenly aware that Wu Ming may have a secret. What the specific secret is, Yebai needs to continue to dig out. If you dig deeper, you suddenly find that the namelessness is the work of third brother Xiaoyao. Yebai would definitely turn around and run away without looking back. If you dare to look back, he is Grandpa Ju. Yebai was doing archaeology, not digging his own grave. Yebai still has this point. Wu Ming stared at Yebai without saying a word. Don't look at me like I'm a villain who wants to destroy the world. Yebai tried to communicate with the other party from the perspective of the middle two. What if I am your golden finger? I have been observing you for so many years and finally recognize you and decide to show up to give you an adventure. This fits Wu Ming's brain circuit very well. Wu Ming's eyes lit up. Then you are. Yebai shook his head. I'm not. The corners of Wu Ming's mouth twitched and he almost cursed. You're not talking nonsense. How about this? Yebai pondered for a moment and spoke again. I know you have a secret, but I can't see through it. I hope you can take the initiative to share it. Here, we have to name and criticize others who are scornful, and we will strike whenever we encounter some special circumstances. Faced with Yebai's conditions, Wu Ming was of course dismissive. How could he tell others his secret for no reason? Nameless, still too young. He didn't know that the man in front of him was best at making deals with others. Isn't the last sword handsome? Yebai suddenly changed the subject. The last sword that killed number one was perfect in every detail. Just kidding, Yebai secretly imitated 1/10,000th of Lan Bangxian's style. Of course it's not enough to kill the demon god. Used to bluff a middle-aged child like Wu Ming, it's very easy to use. Do you want to learn? Yebai showed Xuemeng's familiar but heartbreaking smile. Tell me your secret and I will teach you this sword. Wu Ming's expression was a bit struggling, as if hesitating. Yabai strikes while the iron is hot. I will leave you another set of thunder skills, so that you can protect yourself and live a better life. Wei quickly said. I want my apprentice to dismantle Gundam by hand. Yabai nodded readily, deal. Teach, I can teach you. A strength attribute of over 100,000 is enough. As for whether you can learn it or not, that is your own problem. Master leads us in. Cultivation is up to you. It's okay to tell you the secret. In fact, I am a time traveler. Wei whispered, blinking and looking at Yabai. His eyes were full of pride and show-off. Unexpectedly, I am unknown and hidden, but I am one of the rare time travelers. Time traveler. Hearing these three words, Yabai raised his eyebrows. What a coincidence, so is I. No, there's no one who hasn't traveled through time at the age of 18, right? After confessing his biggest secret, Wei opened up his chat box and kept talking. I come from a place called Blue Star. This world is called the Eternal Tower in Blue Star. Most people can only enter the tower for 6 hours a day. I am here all day long. Although I don't know which floor this is, it looks very dangerous. I think it's no lower than the 60th floor, no, the 80th floor. Yeah, bye. Wait, our time travel seems to be different. 2 or 3 things about Nameless traveling through time to become an NPC in the Eternal Tower. This moment. In Yebai's heart, Wei-Ming's intelligence level is comparable to that of Zhao Ziyan. The two of them are simply the sleeping dragon and phoenix chicks of the human race. Those who get one of them may suffer from cerebral thrombosis. Yabai was so virtuous and capable that he actually met both of them. Interrupt me. Yabai cleared his throat and decided to tell Wei-Ming the truth. Forgot to introduce myself, I'm from Blue Star. What? This time, it was Wei-Ming's turn to be shocked. Are you from Blue Star? Wei-Ming froze on the spot and murmured. Doesn't that mean that the 32 strong men from other worlds I defeated before? Yabai nodded and took Wei-Ming's words. Yes, they are all Blue Star players. Among the 32 people in front of them, if Wei-Ming chatted with them for a few more words, they would know the truth. Unfortunately, none of these people can defeat their unknown companions. He didn't know the truth until now. Over the years, Wei-Ming has been worried every day, thinking that if he sneaks into the Eternal Tower, he will be rejected by the Eternal Tower, and may be captured by the boss arranged by the Eternal Tower. Wei-Ming never expected that the being he thought was the boss was actually a human player from Happy's hometown. Fuck. How so? Wei-Ming collapsed in the corner, holding his head in his hands, his face full of despair. My mentality is broken. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 359. Eternal Tower. 28th floor. In the cafe, Wei ordered 2 cappuccinos for himself. Although Shura said that he would not drink, Wei-Ming still insisted. By the way, what year is Blue Star now? Wei-Ming asked curiously. He entered the Eternal Tower relatively early, and came in at the early stage of the 2nd grade of Shuyunibu. Being alone all year round made Wei-Ming's condition worsen significantly, and he successfully developed into the late stage of Shuyunibu. Yabai had nothing to hide, 2146. It's the 22nd century. A trace of loneliness flashed across Wei-Ming's face. It's been so long. Is Blue Star okay? The abyss hasn't come over, right? No. Yabai shook his head, looked at the other party curiously, and asked. When did you travel through time, and why did you appear on the 28th floor? There are only 28 floors here. Wei-Ming sighed, feeling uncomfortable having his fantasy shattered. After regaining his composure, Wei-Ming told his story. I am an orphan. How should I put it? It was quite common in our time. I live in Uncle Liu's house in Chuaning. When I was 17 years old, I got a strange disease. The doctor said I was going to die soon. Uncle Liu invited the god of war to treat me, but he was at a loss. This Uncle Liu is probably the strong man who adopted Liu Qingjian and others. 17 years old. Hearing this number, Ye Bai raised his eyebrows slightly. At this age, there is no way to awaken the talent. Logically speaking, Wu-Ming cannot appear in the Eternal Tower. Moreover, the time flow rate between the two sides is also very different. Wu-Ming stayed here for 4 years, and there was no telling how many years had passed outside. Ye Bai asked, "What then?" Then. Wu-Ming scratched his hair and tried to remember. A passing swordsman in black saved my life. Although I don't know how he did it, he split the Eternal Tower with one sword, do you know? Although it's just a hole the size of a dog hole, it's the Eternal Tower. I crawled into the cave entrance, sneaked over, and settled here. Having said this, Wu-Ming danced and gestured with great excitement. Ye Bai's expression is also particularly wonderful. The identity of the swordsman in black was almost obvious. Second brother, Wu-Hen. Wu-Ming suddenly stopped, looked at Ye Bai expectantly and asked. By the way, my savior's name is Wu-Hen. Did he become the god of war later? God of war Wu-Hen, this name should be very resounding, he is such a handsome person, he can easily steal the show. Wu-Ming looked at Ye Bai with eyes full of expectation. Ye Bai shook his head, no. Oh. The disappointment on Wu-Ming's face could not be concealed, but he quickly cheered up. It doesn't matter. I believe Wu-Hen will become the god of war one day. Ye Bai interrupted Wu-Ming and said seriously. Wu-Hen is the most powerful person in our clan, the second generation of the most powerful person after Nightmare. The most powerful one. Wu-Ming's mouth opened wide, as if he could eat a computer. He never expected that his savior Wu-Hen would become the most powerful person. This is too strong. Wu-Ming couldn't wait to ask. What about the abyss? Has it been completely destroyed? No, after Wu-Hen, the third generation of the strongest is named Xiaoao. Having said this, Ye Bai looked at the other party and did not continue. After hearing the messages from the most powerful person one after another, Wu-Ming was really excited and asked proactively. Where's the fourth generation? Let me tell you, the formula in the novel is that the third generation leader is the weirdest and oldest, and the fourth generation is the strongest. Believe me, the fourth generation of the strongest will definitely be super strong. Boy, the road is getting wider. Ye Bai cleared his throat and said implicitly and without showing off. The fourth generation of the strongest is named Shura. The name of a good middle school student is not as good as the name of a free and powerful person. Wu-Ming complained casually. Ye Bai. Ye Bai's mood was particularly complicated when he was criticized by a patient with advanced Chuyunibu in front of him. Third brother, are you here? Please give me a name change card. Wu-Ming suddenly thought of something and his expression was dull. Etc. Holy shit, shit, shit. You are Xiaoao, ah no, you are Shura. Ye Bai nodded implicitly, that's right. Low profile. I, Shura, am not a flamboyant person. In the coffee shop, Ye Bai and Wu-Ming chatted for a while. Wu-Ming is living a good life here. As a time traveler, he relied on his memories before coming to transport a few online books, making a small fortune and having enough food and clothing. Because he was an orphan, Wu-Ming didn't have much concern in Blue Star. I just asked Uncle Liu and Wu-Hen how they were doing, and expressed my concern. As for more, Wu-Ming is also powerless. He is already half an NPC on the 28th floor of the Eternal Tower. The only superpower is to summon monsters to attack human players and hinder their own people. Sorry, I will be gentler next time. It doesn't matter. Yabai explained. The stronger the monster you summon, the higher the exploration level we gain. By defeating your friends, I gained nearly 50% exploration. Am I so powerful? Liuming suddenly became nervous again. Does that mean that I am actually the boss on this floor? Yabai nodded. If you understand it this way, there seems to be no problem. After saying that, Yabai stood up and asked. I have one child NPC left, do you want to come with me? Liuming nodded quickly, okay. Walk. Following the navigation of the Eye of Insight, Yabai successfully found the last 9-year-old child. The other person is squatting on the ground counting ants. Considering that the other party was only 9 years old, Yabai deliberately changed into normal clothes so as not to scare the children. Having defeated Kui Shiwen and Liuming successively, Yabai's exploration level has reached 85%. With only the last 15% of exploration left, Yabai could pass SSSS and complete tonight's mission. After that, go back to Blue Star, take the time to chat with third brother Xiaoao, and show some love to the old man Kanta. After all, Yabai had already received Zhao's money, so he had to help others. After finding Aibo, Yabai squatted down and asked friendly. Excuse me, are you Aibobo? When he is not shedding wool, Yabai has a pretty good temperament and will not scare children into tears. Although Liuming is a bit average, he still looks normal. The two of them were squatting on the ground, chatting with a 9-year-old child, which was not a big problem. Aibobo, who was counting ants, raised his head and looked at Yabai. The child looked slightly surprised and asked. Can you see me? Something happened today, I just came back to code. No one is still coding on Valentine's Day, right? Blanche. Online games, only I can see hidden information. Author, Minjai Old Thief. Chapter 360. Can you see me? In just one sentence, Liuming's face turned white in just one stroke. After all, Yabai is a person who has seen strong winds and waves. He was wearing a simulated mask, and his expression didn't change much. Yabai asked softly. Kid, what are you looking for? Aibobo said seriously. Someone dug a hole in my house and something bad came out. Can you help me find him? Nameless. Falling into a trap belongs to Yes. He subconsciously wanted to run, but Yabai held him in place. Why panic? Even if you want to run, let me run first. Yabai turned to look at Aibobo. So how are we going to find this bad guy? The bad guy used to hide, but he became stronger little by little. I couldn't find him at all. Aibobo sniffed. But today is different. The bad guy came out on his own. Liuming scratched his head, was he so bad? Yabai continued to ask, where is this him you are talking about now? It's on top of the head. Aibobo buried his head deeply, not daring to look at the top of his head. He is coming, he will die, I will die. Yabai and Liuming looked up at the same time, and a black cloud suddenly appeared above their heads, blocking all sunlight. The smell on the black cloud is evil, dirty, it seems familiar. Damn it, what did you imagine? Feeling the evil and terror of this aura, Liuming's legs trembled, and his whole body stayed in place like a wooden stake. He thought that this was a monster imagined by Aibobo, just like his nameless companion. Aibobo's little face wrinkled up, his eyes were confused, and he shook his head. I don't know either. Ever since that dog hole appeared, I've been feeling this aura, ready to move. A figure stood in front of the two of them. Seeing the terrifying aura appearing over the city, Yabai knew the source of the other party even without the prompting from the Eye of Insight. Yabai read softly. The most powerful demon. Run. Liuming sprang out like a rabbit, grabbed Yabai's arm and pulled him back. Shura, leave quickly. You can't die here. I'll help you wean yourself off. Wyoming pulled Yabai and said. Actually, I still have a secret partner that I haven't summoned yet. Unexpectedly, the third rule of survival for travelers from different worlds is to always leave yourself a trump card. Don't worry, if he takes action, he will definitely be able to drive away the most powerful demon. Saying that, Wyoming pulled Yabai, wanting Shura to run first. No hurries. Yabai calmly patted Wyoming on the shoulder. Don't worry, if my life is really in danger, I will definitely run faster than you. Nameless. Yabai already understood this aspect. Looking at the slowly gathering atmosphere over the city. Behind the huge black clouds, terrifying and unspeakable monsters appear bit by bit. With the appearance of the projection, the whole city keeps shaking and may fall into the abyss of destruction at any time. If you are not careful, the 28th floor of the Eternal Tower will cease to exist. Even the guards on the 28th floor have given up resistance and are immersed in being ostriches. Wilhen's sword that year created a bug on the 28th floor of the Eternal Tower. It is equivalent to leaving a crack in the seal of the most powerful demon. Relying on this crack, it would be impossible for the mighty demon to completely escape. Even if he could, the most powerful demon god who was seriously injured would not have the courage to escape in an honest way. But, gathering up strength little by little, he had the courage to cast a projection on the 28th floor. Not only is he is great. Yabai's arrival affected the power of the most powerful demon god to stay here. When Yabai broke into the abyss before, he was infected by the aura of the most powerful demon, although he escaped with the help of the meditation spell. But this kind of dirt is not so easy to remove. The auras of the most powerful demon god echo each other, and finally the aura overflowing from the most powerful demon god wakes up, and the projection comes. Across the black clouds, feeling the oppressive feeling of the projection of the most powerful demon god, Yabai could not help but feel heavy in his mind. The enemy's strength is being assessed. Cannot quantify projection strength using numbers. Adopt easy to understand mode. The difference in strength between this projection and the most powerful demon is probably equal to the difference in strength between Shura and Xiaoao. It's really an easy to understand description. Yabai was not afraid in the face of danger, did not panic at all, and even wanted to laugh. His right hand rested on the Heavenly King's sword. Facing the projection of the most powerful demon, if it were Yabai under normal circumstances, he would have absolutely no chance of winning. However, with the powerful blessing of SSS level talents, the wind of victory is blowing from behind Shura. Dare to put up this kind of flag, which shows that there is really no danger. The outcome of this battle has been decided before it even begins. Yabai chuckled and said. Don't be shy and be serious. Just acting cool. Standing in front of Wyoming and Ai Bobo, facing the projection of the most powerful demon alone. I wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day and a happy Lantern Festival. While Yabai was preparing, Wyoming was behind him, mumbling something. It is better to choose a day than to hit it. Roll. This is Yabai's biggest support and his confidence to face the most powerful demon. The two men's movements were almost exactly the same. They drew their swords out of their sheaths at the same time, and slashed at the most powerful demon at the same time, using the same sword moves. Today, kill a powerful demon projection to add to the fun. Yabai took a deep breath and slowly opened his eyes. In terms of saving money, Yabai still has merits. I hope everyone can learn more. No life is important. Are you ready? Otherwise, he would have run away with Wyoming and Ai Bobo. Let me emphasize again to everyone, don't give gifts when we come to Tomato to read books. Don't waste money. Thank you to every reader for your love and support, and I hope that the old thief can live up to this love and support in the years to come. Wyoming's face was full of excitement, anticipation, and nervousness, and he respectfully read out the other party's name. Reproduction mode, ready. This phantom is dressed in black and equipped with a long sword. The traceless shadow stood behind Yebai, with his right hand also on the sword. In an instant, countless sword energies spread across the sky and earth, strangling and suppressing everything. Just listen, the two cursed in the same disdainful and contemptuous tone. Countless air currents surged, and the sky and earth were of different colors. Back then, outside the first abyss, Wilhan used a sword to seal the strongest abyss. My savior, the dashing swordsman in black, the kind-hearted person who sent me to another world, the partner who doesn't need to be ranked. The sun, moon, and stars were eclipsed at this moment. Traceless. Originally, Yebai planned to use the sword elsewhere. To hell with any SSSS level ratings. No trace. If you look down at the entire battlefield, you will find an extremely huge shadow rising from the ground, vast and majestic, becoming the most prominent existence in the world, completely suppressing the projection of the most powerful demon god in terms of momentum. A certain powerful seed opened his eyes wide, saw the sword clearly, and copied it. I need your help. The old thief once made a little money by writing books. I can't say that he is rich, but at least he has no worries about hair transplantation. Would Yebai waste such a good opportunity? Boom.